Hello, this is PDG ma'am, and today's video is specially for entrepreneurship students of class 12 who will be giving their boards exam in just a few days from now. So, this particular video will cover the chapter 1 or the unit 1 of your entrepreneurship syllabus, and I will be telling you about the portions which are very important for your boards exam. Usually it is because there has been no change with this particular chapter, and I will also ask you to mark a few areas or to keep in mind a few areas which I guess will help you for your boards exam. This will be a little longer, the duration of the video, so if you really want to know about it, you will have to stick to the end. Obviously, you have the freedom of skipping it as and when required. So let's begin. Okay, so starting with your first unit, which is entrepreneurial opportunity, please do remember that this chapter remains to be one of the most important chapter as regards to your question paper. A lot of questions are set from this particular part. Usually you have questions in the category of 1 mark, 2 mark and 3 marks from this chapter. But it doesn't mean that you cannot have a 5 marks question from this chapter. Okay, previously it was 6 marks, but you must have seen now it has been the 5 marks category. So this chapter remains quite important. Now, going page wise, this is one portion. You start your chapter with this, right? But this particular portion, that is the relationship between the entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, and enterprise, this is an old concept which you have already done in your class 11. So I would suggest don't unnecessarily spend a lot of time in going through these concepts, because by now, since you are in class 12, these concepts are already there with you. You don't have to separately learn the definitions again. You already know what is the relationship between the entrepreneur, the entrepreneurship, and the enterprise. Okay, so just keep this diagram in mind, keep these words in mind, and then I guess you can always elaborate if this is coming. This remains important. Okay, business opportunity. The trend, if you have followed the trend of the CBSE question pattern for entrepreneurship, you must have seen that lines direct from the chapters are given and you have to identify the concept. So the board, instead of asking you what is business opportunity, can always give you this line that it can be dash. Okay, they will put a dash here or something like this. Dash can be described as an economic idea which can be implemented to create a business enterprise and earn profit. Identify the concept. Questions can come like this. Very common, very important. So in that case, your answer will be business opportunity. So you have to remember the term. You have to remember certain lines from your textbook also. I'm talking about your textbook, the CBSE textbook, not any reference book. You actually don't need any reference book for your entrepreneurship class 12 exams. If you are thorough with your NCERT textbook, the CBSE textbook, that is it. You are, okay with the chapter then. These points are to be remembered. What the entrepreneur has to ensure before selecting an opportunity, that is, there is a good market for the product that he is thinking of producing, and there should be an acceptable and attractive rate of return. So this entire portion is important. Okay, next we go to the next page. I've already marked it here. See, elements of business opportunity. Very common, very important and common as well. You can get it in your MCQ. You can get this in fill in the blanks. It can come as which identify the elements of business opportunity. For MCQ, the question can also be which of the following is not an element of business opportunity. So whatever might be the question, the fact remains that these 4 or 5 points you have to remember. Okay, assured market scope, attractable return, which is similar to the last 2 points we have just now discussed. The idea has to be practical. The competence of the entrepreneur should be there, and there should be, scope for future growth. So please do remember these points. These remain very important. That is page 3 from your textbook. Going to the next page. This is a case study. Right now, you will not be requiring this. Not requiring in the sense that you will not get the exact case study from the book. Usually, it doesn't come that way. But if you have time, if you want to take some rest, you are tired reading your textbook, go through these case studies because they are actually related to your topic and they will help you in understanding the chapter better. Okay, so if you have time, just go through the case studies. This again can come in the form of a diagram because you have picture questions also, or pictorial questions. So this diagram can be given to you and you can be asked to explain it. Okay, or it can be said, discuss the enterprise process diagram. So this is how you will have to explain it one after the other. Problems needs to be identified. That is what is opportunity spotting. You need to understand the needs and demands and problems of the people. That will give you the scope for identifying your opportunities. Then you put in your creative ideas and thoughts to it. You think of developing some ideas. These creativity will help you and your innovative skill will help you in developing your product, and this will lead to ultimately the setting up of your business or your dream project. And yes, everything has to operate within an environment. So this is there all around. So this is your enterprise process diagram. Go through this diagram well. This is what you get from the diagram, which I have already explained. So either you can memorize or you can remember. But certain points have to be memorized because when you talk about the answer key, we usually go by points. Okay, now see, this again remains very important. What is sensing entrepreneurial opportunity? This 2 line or rather 1.5 line is very important. I would suggest memorize this because again, as I said, you might be given, it is a process of converting an idea into an opportunity and then into an enterprise. Identify. So you will not be directly asked what is sensing entrepreneurial opportunities. The question can also be, twisted and asked in an indirect manner. So you have to remember this line so that when this is given to you, it instantly strikes that it relates to sensing of entrepreneurial opportunities. If these are coming for objective type questions, do remember answers have to be very, very specific. You cannot write anything in place of this. If you're not writing this, then you don't get the marks, right? This factors involved in sensing opportunities. These again remains important. This, as I told you in the beginning only, this entire chapter is important. Okay, so you need to remember and go through the entire chapter very well. But obviously, these portions you can never ignore. Factors involved, ability to, and all these, these are now discussed in detail. Okay, all these points. If you have gone through the board's paper for the past few years, you must have seen questions from these areas are always coming. Okay, so do not skip these areas. Again, for short question, what is environment scanning? Very simple question, but a very common question. Okay, what is environment scanning? This can come. Or again, this line can be given and you have to identify that it relates to scanning of the environment. Why do we need to scan the environment? You need not remember what is written out here. But if you have the concept, you can always write it in your own words. Okay? Everything around you is changing so fast. If we don't know about the changes, we will not be able to adjust with it. We will not be able to adapt. We will not be able to enjoy the first mover advantage. And if you are missing out on all these, your chances of survival in the environment will be reduced to a great extent. So for the future of your organization, for the growth perspective of your organization, and just to stay in the market, we have to constantly monitor the changes that are happening in the environment. We have to evolve, we have to develop, we have to adapt and adopt. So that is all about why do we need to scan the environment. Importance of environment. This can come as a 3 mark question also. This can come as a 2 mark, 1 mark question also. But you can expect this as a 3 4 mark question also. Okay. Uh, Whenever, and one more thing, whenever it is a 3 marks question or something like that, do not just give the keywords. These are called the keywords. The headings are the keywords. Okay, but whenever it's 3 marks, 5 marks, 4 marks, whatever might be there, go for explanation. Even if the question paper is saying state, where we usually, give one line, but my suggestion, and I'm sure other teachers will also suggest it that way, go by the weightage of the question. If the weightage is more, then even if the question is saying state, give the heading and go for a little bit of explanation. Okay, don't give any scope or any chance for the examiner or to the examiner to deduct your marks. I will continue this in the next video because this is already 10 minutes long. So for the next of the pages, watch the next video. Thank you.